know a lot of my subscribers own the Panasonic G7 because I get a lot of questions and comments from you guys on my recent Panasonic G7 in 2020 review video. If you haven't seen that video, I suggest you go check it out. I will leave a link for you right up here as well as in the description. But I wanted to give something back to you guys and kind of show you guys the settings that I use to get the most that I can out of that camera and hopefully help you guys get more out of it as well. So if you like that whole sequence that you just saw at the beginning, that was all shot using the G7 just a couple days ago. So I'm going to show you guys the settings that I use, but let's dive in. Once we're in the menu system, the first thing that we're going to change is the photo style. We don't really want to use the standard photo style because that's going to give us the least amount to work with in post. We want something that has a little bit more of a film style look, which is Cine-like D. The D is for dynamic range. This is going to give us more dynamic range in the image by changing the gamma curve and giving us more to work with in post. This is assuming that you're going to do some kind of post processing. So what I like to do to take it a step further is go down to the contrast and take it down to -1. I don't want to go too far with any of this because this is only an 8-bit image and you can't push things around too far without deteriorating the image. So I take the contrast down to -1. The sharpness, I just kind of leave it where it's at. Noise reduction, this is going to kind of depend on your computer. So I take the noise reduction down to -2 because I prefer to do the noise reduction myself in post because my computer can handle it. Not always do I have to do noise reduction, and I don't want the camera changing the image if I don't have to. And so, but again, this kind of depends on your computer. If your computer's not very powerful, then you might want to just go ahead and take that to -1 or leave it at 0 so the camera's going to do the noise reduction for you. From there, I take the saturation down to 1, and again, this is just going to kind of give me more to work with in post. So we're going to hit set. The next setting we're going to change is our record quality. You want to make sure that you have it set to something like 4K 24 frames per second versus 30 frames per second. The reason why you want to use 24 frames per second is because that's more what we're used to out of Hollywood for cinematic film. Plus, it also gives you the most natural motion blur that our eyes are kind of accustomed to. 30 frames per second is more for live stuff or more action type scenes. But also 24 frames per second shoots at 100 megabits just like 30 does. And so you're going to get more information per frame by going to 24 frames per second. If you want to do some slow-mo stuff in post, then you can do 1080 60 frames per second and then slow that down to 40% if you're on a 24 frames per second timeline. So we're going to choose 24 frames per second here. Now we want to go down and change our luminance level. You want to make sure that this is set at 0 to 255, not 16 to 255. 16 to 255 is something meant more for broadcast safe requirements. It's going to actually clip off that luminance range from 0 to 16. But we want 0 to 255 because that's going to give us the most information in post to be able to manipulate our image. So set that to 0 to 255. The final thing that you want to make sure that is turned off is eye dynamic range and eye resolution. We don't want the camera making any of the choices for us. We want to do all of that ourselves in post. So if you have any questions or comments in regards to those settings, let me know down in the comment section below. I'd love to help you guys out. If there's something that you do differently that you feel others would benefit from, let us know down there as well.